Artemis. The door was wide open. Is Serena here?
What?
What? She took off. She's gone alone.
Oh, no. It's just like that meatball head. I bet Serena's going to try to fight Rubius all by herself.
I do believe you're right, Luna.
But she can't. It's too crazy. She can never pull it off alone.
Huh? Rini! Rini! Oh, no. She must have gone after Serena. You know, it's really scary how much those two are alike. They're both a pair of meatball heads, as if they were related or something.
Moon Podcast Escalation!
My name is Jordan D. White.
My name is Chris Sims, and this is Sailor Business. It's the podcast where we sit down with a friend each and every week and watch an episode of the classic 1992 Sailor Moon anime and talk about why it is that we love it so much. And we are in for some intense action here. This is an episode that feels like a season finale, one of many episodes in R that feels like a season finale, and yet R just keeps going. R just continues indefinitely until morale improves. But yes, we are going to be watching episode 74 of Sailor Moon R, Defeat Rubius, The Battle in Space. What do you think is going to happen in this one, Jordan?
I think Rubius is going to win.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think that is destined to happen. But in order to help us talk about that, we are welcoming back our guest from last week. Please say hello again to Artly King Vasquez. Artly, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good. This is fun. I have so many. I sound so weary. I know. I'm just so concerned with this episode.
Again, this was not one that you picked. This was one that was assigned to you.
No, it's not that. It's just that they could have did so much more with this, and there's so much problems here. I'll work through it. It's fine.
See, that's interesting to me because like I said last week, I actually like these episodes a lot. I think they're really fun. But I can, they are not free of problems for sure.
No.
Yes, no, we pointed out a lot of problems last week. So
yeah, but I think we're in a weird spot in these episodes where there's so many villains in R. You start off with Alan and Anne, and then you kind of lose them, and then you get the Spectre sisters, and you lose them, and you have Rubius for a couple episodes, and you lose him. There's a really strong progression of villains that you didn't have in the first season, where you had Queen Beryl start to finish. With the Four Kings of Heaven kind of coming in and out, but Queen Beryl beginning to end. And, like I said last week, it took us a long time, 30 episodes to get to Prince Demond and find out he was the one who's in charge of things. It's not just Rubius, and it's not just Wise Man, and it's not just et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
We did have that little bit at the end of first season where there was extra bad guys that we didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true. But, I feel like it was a little more cohesive then. But we're getting into discussing the episode.
Yay.
Wow, you're ready to get out of here.
No, it's not that.
No.
I have so many questions. I've written so much down when it comes to this episode, and so many questions.
Well, speaking of so many questions, we have so many questions on Twitter that we can answer.
Ooh.
That's right. We have some tweets and some emails to read. Jordan, what do you want to do first, tweets or emails?
Let's do some tweets, because I'm all set and ready to go.
Okay, hit me up. We'll do some emails in a minute.
Here's one I don't think we've answered before. By the way, you can tweet questions to us at Sailor Business on Twitter. Tom Solo says, what teams would the Sailor Scouts choose in the Marvel Civil War?
Ooh.
The movie Civil War? Civil War the event? Or Civil War 2?
It looks like he's talking about the comic Civil War, but, they're pretty similar between the original comic and the movie. They're not exactly the same, but they're close, from what I know from the commercials. Now listen, the Sailor Scouts are very strong proponents of secret identities, except when they blow them.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'd want to like register with the government, right?
Well, how are they going to get their merchandising, out there, with the Sailor Moon toys and things like that in the Crane games?
Well, that would be the upside, is then they'd actually be able to reap the profits, because I'm pretty sure they're just getting ripped off right now.
I can see Ami wanting to really follow the rules.
Yes.
And
good old math book.
Yeah, good old math book. It wants to follow the rules. And I could see Minako wanting to do it too, because she worked with the police.
And well, yes, but again, with a secret identity.
Well, true.
That being said, she would get famous if she revealed herself.
Yeah. So then you get Mars with that logic.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Jupiter's just going to hit the streets, vigilante style.
So this is going to tear the team in half, because I don't think Sailor Moon is going to want to reveal her identity.
Well, that's the point of Civil War.
Yeah.
Jordan, that's the whole premise of the story.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Oh, brother.
Oh, boy.
I obviously think that. Well, I guess we don't want to get into the outer century, but I was going to say that I think our Uranus and Neptune would probably not reveal themselves. But what are you going to do?
It's possible.
I think well then the team would be torn in half. I could see Amy can do the Spider-Man press conference where she reveals her identity next to Iron Man.
Yeah, that would be great, because she could be like, I've been Sailor Mercury since I was 14 years old. And you could be like, how old are you now? And she'd be like, also 14 years old.
Don't question it.
Good times. Our good friend Jonathan Chisholm asks, when the Spectre sisters become normal people, what do each of them decide to do for each of their lives, careers, and dreams? And he says, I know they open a makeup stand on the show, but what about after that? What do they really want?
I mean, I think that is what they really want.
You think like they just grow a makeup empire from that one
like
stand?
a franchise like Sephora.
Yeah, I think that's a good example. Yeah, I think they become businesswomen.
What year was that founded? Is that them? Maybe it was them.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, we need to do some quick Sephora research.
You never know.
I mean, there has to be a wiki page. Oh, there it is. In 1970.
Wow.
Oh,
okay.
well then that's definitely not them. But
Yeah,
still, let's see. What else? What other good questions do we have? Do you think that Sailor Moon could ever work as a live-action film, the way comic books have been translated into film recently?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, technically it has. So yes.
Yes.
I think that, but I think he, to be fair to Alexander Evangeli, I think he probably means an American one. I could be mistaken.
No. They tried that already. And it did not work well with test audiences.
Oh, you're talking about Saban Moon.
I am talking about Saban Moon.
That's one of our favorite subjects here on the show. One day,
if you get
my hands on.
If you get good people involved, if you get, I mean, again, the reason that the comic book movies started getting better was because you got people who cared about them and understood them involved. If you get somebody who gets Sailor Moon involved, I feel like they could make a good Sailor Moon movie. Well,
wait a minute, Jordan. I have a question. Like, Saban got their hands on it, and Saban has done many wonderful things, such as Power Rangers, which is awesome, and then it have done some not so great things, such as VR Troopers and Beetleborgs. You don't think that Saban, given the right circumstances, could possibly make a better Sailor Moon?
I mean, listen, I'm not that big of a fan of the Power Rangers. Like, I think it's adorable.
I went off the shot.
Adorable? Yeah.
Adorable? How dare you? Power Rangers also shaped my life in the way that Sailor Moon has. My feelings are hurt.
I'm excited about just you being replaced with Jake in our next episode. And it's me and Jake.
I love that.
No. Listen, I mean, I don't think. I mean, well, look, they showed what they wanted to do with Sailor Moon, and they botched it. But I think somebody could do a good version of it, and I don't know who exactly, but I think it could be neat.
If they did the whole actually getting people who are involved, like the fans, like the kind of way they did Sailor Moon, I think they could do a better job of it. Just not having somebody in a wheelchair. I mean, not that you couldn't, but I still don't understand how that would have translated into live action and animation.
Let me ask you this: do you think? I mean, and I think the answer is probably yes. But do you think that fans would react negatively to making an American Sailor Moon movie?
Depending on who's in it, because there were rumors out there that Megan Fox wanted a part of Sailor Moon, and there was just outright pitchforks and torches.
I mean, at this point, though, I kind of feel like if they tried to make a Sailor Moon movie that was just, you know, American girls, and Sailor Moon was a blonde white girl, that people would be like, no, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, they definitely have to
I think
diversify it.
one of the reasons that comic book movies that we're getting now are a little, you know, are certainly better than they have been in the past is that you're seeing them be more faithful, not necessarily to specific stories, because honestly, my least favorite things in comic book movies are where they just like try to recreate imagery or panels from stories, but that they're true to specific characters, like, and what makes the characters work. Like, there's not as much of a desire to change a character and their motivation to sort of fit them into the action movie structure that you see with older superhero movies, like even Superman. You know, like the first Superman movie is very Jor-El heavy, and Superman doesn't show up for 45 minutes in that movie, and Superman goes and lives in an ice cave for 10 years or whatever it is. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff in that movie that you don't get in something like like Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the last vestiges of that were in Iron Man, which I think is a good movie, but is very much a Hollywood action movie. Like, the first thing Iron Man does in that movie is he goes and gets revenge, right? Like, he flies back to where he was being held captive and like shoots all those guys.
Yeah.
And then kind of learns like, oh, that's a wrong thing to do.
Suppressing fire.
So I feel like that's the advantage that you have with something like Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, where it's extremely faithful to the source material, not necessarily in the events, but in that, like, you know, Usagi acts like Usagi in that movie. Ami acts like Ami. And even, you know, even though Luna's a puppet, which is amazing.
Yes.
No.
Like,
Yes.
Jordan, when we watch that, when we finish up the anime and then our like 5th year is us watching Pretty Guardian, it's gonna be amazing. You're gonna love it.
I've seen clips of this puppet. I'm not a fan of the puppet.
She's so great.
I want this. I want to find this puppet and have it in my house.
Okay.
But I feel like that's why, you know, I feel like
I
that's
like
why the
puppets.
Saban Moon stuff, it comes off as so weird. Like, it's not necessarily that they have I guess Ami's Saban equivalent like in a wheelchair. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a character in a wheelchair. It's that the way that she's presented in a weird dance number and then as a windsurfing super heroine
Exactly.
in something that's so dramatically different. Like, you never get to see whether, you know, the character would be similar. You just see like, oh, here's, you know, they're doing a dance number, which is weird.
Yeah.
Side note, in my notes for this episode, I wrote down that I want Chris Hardwick to play Rubius in a movie of Sailor Moon. So there you go.
Okay.
I think you'd be good at it, man.
I do think a Sailor Moon movie, like a live action Sailor Moon movie, could work. I do not know that I would trust anyone but like Toei to make it.
Yeah. Toei has to have their hands all in this.
Yeah.
Maybe the last Gus to do it. Sorry. Okay, ridiculous. Hey, Stephen Bush wants to know, what American superhero would be improved with a Luna-like sidekick?
All of them.
Yes, agreed. 100% agreed.
Like, well, because you know who the American Luna is?
Who?
Alfred.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alfred is the American Luna.
Yeah.
Luna is the Japanese Alfred Pennyworth.
I actually went on a kick a couple of years ago, not based on Sailor Moon, but based on actually on Disney movies, that I was like, wait, why don't all of our supervillains have adorable animal sidekicks that are only slightly morally questionable? Like, Dr. Doom needs like, a cat or something, or like all of these bad guys should have animals for sure.
In a post-Unbeatable Squirrel Girl world, where Tippy Toe is now an extremely marketable character,
Yeah.
I feel like it might happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what kind of animal you would give Deadpool, and I don't know.
Deadpool has a pet, Jordan. How do you not know this? How do you not know that Deadpool already has a pet?
Which one are you referring to?
I'm talking about the dog that he stole from Daredevil
Oh, that one. Okay.
yeah.
Yes. Got lots of.
in 1997.
I mean, that
Deuce
dog
the Devil
doesn't
Dog?
talk. I don't think.
Okay, like the best Thing stories are where the Thing is hanging out with Lockjaw, and Lockjaw is the Thing's dog.
That was pretty good too. Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
Lockjaw.
Like, I love it when, like, what kind of pet would you give Dr. Doom? Like, what would you give him?
Dr. Doom.
Mm,
I mean, it would be cool for him to have. I mean, again, are we talking about just an animal or an animal that talks?
A talking animal, like Iago,
Okay.
or I'm trying to think of any other Disney sidekicks, because the horse and the lizard from Tangled don't talk.
I mean, a vulture would be kind of cool. I mean, a tiger.
He does have, I believe he does have a tiger or a leopard in one of his early appearances. Like in his second appearance in Fantastic Four, I think you see him sitting on his throne with a leopard.
That would be pretty cool.
Would you give, if he had a leopard, would you give the leopard a little metal mask?
Only if it got its face injured.
Oh.
So I don't think so. No. You want to dress up a leopard like Doctor Doom?
Do you not want to dress up a
Are
leopard
we
like
not
Dr.
doing
Doom?
this?
Okay, I guess we could try that. In that case, I would actually rather go with a vulture then.
Okay. You can give a vulture a little hood.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a little
he's
vulture that has a cape and a hood and a mask.
When he's in his cage, he has it on there, and then when you take him out, you take the mask off.
Oh, because that would be if it was like a falcon or something.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, because this has to defend. It's like Doctor Doom. It hides his face, his hideous vulture face.
Okay. God.
All right. Let's do one more, and then we'll go to the mail. Right. Lindsay Ariel asks if the Senshi had Secret Service code names, what would they be? Amy, of course, would be Math Book.
Of course.
Math book. Math book. Let's see if you can guess which ones they are. I'll just say them. Let's see. There's Math Book.
Got it.
There's Bunny.
Yeah.
Oh well. Okay. Sure.
Oh, come on. That's
Woodblock.
Oh, poor Venus.
poor me.
Let's see. Iron Chef.
Okay.
And Mean Girl.
Oh, poor Ray.
I don't think
I don't like
Mean
Bunny,
Girl
man.
for-
I want to call her Meatball, but that's only in America.
Oh, Meatball would be a pretty good one. Meatball's on the move. I just spoke into my imaginary Secret Service microphone.
Of course you did. We saw it. We saw it in her head.
You can imagine.
Of course.
What about Mamoru? What is his Secret Service name?
Grandpa. As you saw.
I figured it was going to be an older reference. I just didn't think you were going to be that old.
Turtleneck.
No, tracksuit.
Pleated pants. Pearl pleats.
Pleated pants.
We've got eyes on pleated pants.
Pleated pants.
Oh, good stuff.
Awesome.
All right, you got some email for us, Chris?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I asked readers to write Ray Hino's friend fiction.
That's
Yes.
right.
No, I
You
sent
did.
this to both of you. Did you read this? Because it's a hoot.
I did. It's so much fun.
pretty
I read it
fun.
like twice.
You should definitely put this on the Twitter, Jordan. So if anybody wants to read it, they can head to @SailorBusiness on Twitter. I don't want to read the whole thing because it is a substantial piece of fan fiction. It is about Katzy taking over a comic book store and luring Rini in to kidnap her, and it is called a fan fiction written by the talented Ray Hino, the beautiful and talented Ray Hino. The beautiful, amazingly perfect Sailor Mars in Secret Sailor Wars Battle Moons. So the thing that I wanted to mention, there's a lot of... Let's see, here we go. Ray put one hand over her eyes and gazed off into the distance to see the girls running up to the shrine. First came Minako with her cat Artemis draped over her shoulder. She was one bodacious babe with her sparkling blonde hair, cheerful smile, and gracefulness. Then came Ami, Makoto, and Usagi. She's fat.
What? I think I missed that part.
There's a lot of details about Minako, which I think is pretty funny because Ray and Minako is even more canonical than Ami and Makoto.
Okay, all right. Sure
All
it
right.
does.
Then eventually they have their transformation sequences. Where are they? It's really great. She transformed by raising her pen and saying, Mars star power, rings of fire spiraled around her, turning her into a soldier of fire and passion, Sailor Mars. Then Minako raised her pen and said, Venus star power. She became fully naked, her body illuminated with rainbows and ribbons of stars encase her, transforming into the soldier of love and beauty, which she sure totally fits the bill of. Next are Ami and Makoto. Their transformations were cool, but not as cool as Ray's. And Usagi was lame. She did something with her brooch and feathers appeared, whatever, not important.
Oh, poor Usagi. Also, there was a part earlier where she said Mamoru was 43.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Then this was my favorite part. That's the new comic book shop. We should definitely check it out, stated Minako. Yippee, let's all go buy comic books, Usagi squealed with excitement. I want to get the DC Refresh titles and the all-new, all-different Moonlight Knight. Oh, please. Superheroes are for babies. Ray turned her nose up and rolled her eyes. I only read graphic novels like Transmonopolitan, Afterlife with Artemis, and Sailor V for Vendetta. Except for X-Men 92. That is the only superhero comic that I read. Yeah, I love X-Men 92. That is the best comic book ever written, Usagi added. The writers are so smart and clever. Everyone working on that comic deserves lots of awards, stated Emily. Everyone should read X-Men 92. They should go to the local comic book store and add it to their saver and make sure they order issue 2 coming out soon, said Makoto. Well, then we all agree. We should go to the comic book store and buy the latest issue of X-Men 92, said Ray. That was my favorite part.
That's a pretty good part.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So definitely go read Ray Hino's Friend Fiction, because it is, that was by Subtle Chaos, and it was very, very funny.
It's inspired me to write my own fan fiction.
Oh, please.
About
please
your life or about Sailor Mars?
Both?
Oh, okay.
Sure, why
I
not?
feel like writing fan fiction of the characters writing friend fiction is a pretty great new trend.
It should happen. More.
It could totally happen.
We should be getting into the episode soon, but I did want to go through this. I don't believe we talked about this. We did get an email clarifying some things about Shinto, which we did ask about on the show. Brendan Scholes sent in this email, a few things about Shinto. Well, I don't have the full details. The reason Rei is so upset with Yuichiro for not feeding the chickens is because in Shinto, chickens are believed to be messengers from the sun goddess Amaterasu, who is also the major goddess of the religion. They are allowed to roam free, possibly with restrictions in this case, merely because Hikawa Jinja is an urban shrine. The reason that Yuichiro would offer a prayer for sale is because priests are believed to be closer to gods, so their prayers are more likely to be heard. Rei is a psychic because shrine maidens having supernatural powers is a common trend in Japanese entertainment, tied to the fact that shrine maidens are seen as being close to gods. The selling of charms, amulets, and fortunes is common among all shrines in order to pay for upkeep. Hikawa is a larger temple complex and would require a little bit of money to keep working, not to mention that both Rei and Grandpa have bills to pay and Yuichiro to feed. Also, fortune-telling completely works in universe, as seen in Rei's fire reading and premonitions.
That's because she's a quarter monster.
Nope.
Yes, everybody who's part monster gets psychic powers.
Actually,
That's only half
I'm
monsters.
inclined to agree with that, only because of what happens later on in the season. So I will agree to that.
Yeah.
We also got an email from Brad Whitlet, from Brad Whittet, comparing Makoto and Ami to Marcy and Peppermint Patty in the new Peanuts movie, and also referring to Jordan and I as businessmen, which I think is a good name.
Interesting.
But yeah, thank you for sending the email. If you have anything to tell us or clarify to us, please send it to sailorbusinesspodcast@gmail.com, and I will read it and hopefully reply to you soon.
All right. Time for the episode, right?
Time to get into it.
All
Let's
right,
do
Chris, what's the name of the episode in Japan?
The episode in Japan is called Defeat Rubius, The Battle in Space.
Okay, now here's the hint that I'll give you.
Okay.
I believe this Deke episode title is based on the previous Deke episode title.
Okay, well, my do you want to hear my
very
original
related to-
guess before you gave me a hint?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes, let's
Okay, my
hear it.
original guess, Star Wars.
Definitely not right.
No.
No. The hint. Yeah, it's a sequel to last week's episode.
Okay, so last week's episode's American title was Rubius Evens the Score.
Right.
Now, is this a Batman 66 sort of thing where this week's title is going to rhyme with that?
No,
Okay.
but it has a very clear relationship to it.
Okay, so it's Rubius Evens the Score. Is there a name of a team or person in the title?
Yes.
Is it the Sailor Scouts?
No.
Okay, so it's going to be Rubius again.
Yes.
Rubius Evens the Score. Rubius Strikes Out.
You got it!
Woo! First shot. Nice.
Well done.
Rock on, dude.
Oh, thank you. I'm so pleased with myself.
Oh, so good. All right, this is good times. I love
Awesome
it.
sauce.
All right. So do I need to recap for everybody? Because
This one ended on last time ended on a cliffhanger. You better.
I'll go real quick.
Okay.
2
seconds.
2 seconds. It's just real super fast. Can you give me 2 seconds on the clock?
I sure can.
Okay, count it down. Let me know when to go.
On your mark.
Okay.
Get set.
Yes.
Go.
Sailor Moon is our heroine, and she's actually Usagi Tsukino. She's 14 years old. She's a Cancer. Her blood type is O. She transforms into Sailor Moon, the soldier of love and justice, using a silver crystal that gives her moon crystal power to make up herself as Sailor Moon. I think that's how it works. Now, she has teammates, of course. There's the kind-hearted girl genius, Ami Mizuno. There's the hot-headed psychic, Rei Hino. There's the powerful girl in love, Makoto Kino. And there is Minako Aino.
Aww.
Minako Aino. No, they are sailors Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus, respectively. Now, they are currently captured. They have been abducted by a villain named Rubius, who is from the planet Nemesis and also the future. Normally, Usagi would have joined in the fight and probably helped to win, since she is the one who kills all the villains with her finishing moves. But her daughter from the future, who she doesn't know is her daughter from the future, but we all know she's her daughter from the future, stole her silver crystal because she needs to take it to the future to help her mother there. Why all of this could not be resolved in like 5 seconds, I don't know. But that is what is happening. So we have Usagi and her boyfriend, 43-year-old businessman Mamoru Chiba, alias Tuxedo Mask. They are outside this spaceship. The rest of the scouts are on the spaceship, and Rubius, who is the leader of the Black Moon Clan's forces on Earth for now, is making a last-ditch effort to kill them, get the silver crystal, and I guess murder Chibiusa, right? He wants to kill her, right?
Yes, kind of.
That's a good question. He definitely wants to take her.
The Spectre sisters wanted
But
to
the
kill
Spectre
her.
sisters seem like they wanted to kill her, so I don't know the answer to that. It's kind of up in the air.
So that is what is happening. 2 seconds.
Done. Time's up.
All right.
Anyway.
Now, you know things are serious in this episode. Do you know how you know that shit is real right now?
How?
The recap? Like the before episode recap?
Oh, yeah.
Does not play the usual music. Every other episode, even when it's like, yeah, the rest of the Sailor Scouts died and Tuxedo Mask got stabbed in the chest with a giant crystal, it's always the...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
In this one, we get the evil music. We get the organ coming in. The bum, bum, bum. So that's like recap music has gone dark. Shit's getting real.
Damn. So, I mean, and well, it should, because there's a giant spaceship hovering over Tokyo.
We didn't really talk about this spaceship when it showed up in the last episode, but
What it looks like and stuff? No.
Yeah, I do really like the design. It's kind of hard to describe. It's very like starbursty.
Not the
shape,
candy.
not the candy.
Yeah.
But it also has these big it kind of looks like bug eyes on like windows on the bottom. There's like spotlights on it. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like a big giant black onyx star.
Now, you might know what I'm talking about, Artley, and I know Jake is going to know what I'm talking about when he hears this. But to me, I'll send you guys a link. It looks like Die Satan from Power Rangers, but as a spaceship
Yes, it
instead of
does.
just a floating head.
Yeah, I have no idea. What that
Or
means.
for all of us
I just sent you a
folks,
link so you can
it was Lokar, if I'm not mistaken. Jake, help me out.
Yes.
I'm
Oh.
pretty sure you know this.
That is correct.
But yeah, it was Lokar in the which episode was it? I think it was the Island of Illusion episodes.
Yeah, those terrible, terrible episodes.
We don't talk of those.
It's weird. So I clicked the link, and yeah, it looks like this giant head has turned into a spaceship. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I really like that design, and that would have been around the same time. Like, I think Zyuranger, where that would have originated, would have been filmed and aired in 90 or 91 in Japan. So
Yes, because Power Rangers came out in 92, so I want to say yes.
yeah, 93
Okay.
would have been when it would have aired in November of 1993. That episode of Power Rangers. So either 91 or 92 in Japan, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, so cool ship design. Go check it out if you haven't, and go check out Die Satan too.
Because he was
You might
awesome.
want to spell that.
DAI Satan.
All right.
Yeah.
Rubius says, "Hey, give me the silver crystal and give me that little monster,
Please take her.
that little albino rabbit monster, or I'm going to murder your friends. I'm going to give you 3 hours to decide." Which is it's a weird amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Like, usually it would be like, oh yeah, I'm going to give you 1 hour, or I'm going to give you 24 hours. Like, 3 hours seems like a weird time. But he's like, yeah, at 3 a.m., you'll be feeling lonely if you don't hand over the silver crystal and rabbit to me.
Can I say something?
No.
Okay.
Moving on. So in the next scene, yes,
God.
Jordan, what do you want to say?
I think he should just kill them.
Oh yeah, he absolutely should.
Like, what is he thinking?
But I have a theory about this. So maybe in 3 hours there is a time where the like space-time continuum portal opens and he can only kill them within those 3 hours, or else he gets stuck back in the past kind of deal. I know it sounds silly, but maybe he has to kill them at this time in order to drain their powers. But it sounds weird, but it makes sense, right? Logic?
I mean, sure, it would. That's kind of like what we were doing before when we were trying to make up reasons for things that didn't make sense.
Yes.
Like,
Except that they've been trying to kill them since they showed up.
Yeah.
With all of the monsters, with all the droids.
Like, I mean, I guess, again, you know, you could say Rubius has some form of honor or something because he's like, no, man, I offered her a deal. So, like, I have to keep them alive so I can trade them. But it's like, no, you should just murder them. They give you a real hard time. As of right this minute, there's one Sailor Guardian left. Like, kill the other 4. You will have a much better shot.
Yeah, and, I mean, my question is, this is something that we've asked before. Do they know that the Sailor Guardians, the Sailor Senshi, are the same Guardians of Crystal Tokyo? Because if they do, then I gotta say, killing them would be a lot more effective than running Bob Floyd's ice cream for the next 1,000 years.
Yeah.
In terms of helping out the Black Moon Clan, in terms of helping out the Nemesis invasion.
I mean, they really should know, but they're just a bunch of idiots.
Well, no.
You know, last episode we skipped a dream sequence last episode where Chibi is running with the Sailor Scouts in the future and they're protecting her. It's clearly the exact same fucking Sailor Scouts that she's with right now. It's clearly the same ones, and for some reason she's like, duh, I don't know the difference.
Well, because in the
she's
manga
only
they do
5.
mention that they know who they are, because in the manga versions of the 4 Spectre sisters, they knew where to find them and they knew them by name. But I think in the anime, they were just like, well, screw it, we're not going to do that. We're going to go our own route and you're just going to have to deal with it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it is, like, he should absolutely just kill the Sailor Scouts. And, like, not, you don't have to tell Usagi you just killed the Sailor Scouts.
Right. She doesn't have to know till later.
You can lie. If he kills one of them, Nemesis wins. Like, the Black Moon Clan wins. You know, so I don't, like, you were right. He absolutely should. But that's Rubius for you.
Yeah.
He's a screw up all the way.
Hell Yesmeraude shows up and is like, hey, you probably should have just killed Sailor Moon just now. And Rubius is like, meh, listen, I'm still in charge of this operation. I will screw up as I see fit.
But he didn't see Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon didn't show.
Sailor Moon did not show.
And and for reasons we all know.
Yeah, we all know, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
But what he actually says when Esmeralda tells him, you shouldn't be standing around waiting. You should just get rid of Sailor Moon and Rabbit. And he goes, you, as a woman, would not understand.
Yes. Big misogyny there. I'm like, you jerk.
What a weird thing for Rubius to say.
A pox on him.
Bill, because then he follows up by saying, making quick work of that girl won't satisfy me. So forget the fact that he has a job to do. He's like, no, I got to do it in a way that feels good.
Yeah, the only thing that feels good for me is straight up murdering them slowly. which works out, because the next thing we see is that he has taken the other 4 Sailor Scouts and literally crucified them.
Yeah.
On giant crystal crosses.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, this scene shows us for sure that the headquarters we've been seeing the whole time is in this spaceship.
Yes. I was not expecting, like, I watched this episode before. Mm-hmm. I was not expecting this morning when I was eating breakfast to see these Sailor Scouts crucified. That was a little weird.
Let me at least clarify a little. Mm-hmm. They're not crucified in the traditional way. They don't have nails through their arms and feet. They're made out of crystals, and the crystals have been grown around them. So their feet and hands are like held in the crystal.
Yes.
Right.
So they nobody nailed them to a cross. Just to be clear.
But they are still hung up on crosses.
Right. In the literal sense, they are actually crucified. on crosses in very disturbing ways that obviously not in Deke Dub.
Can I tell you something?
Did they show this at all in the Deke Dub? Because this seems like the kind of thing they would not show.
Here's the thing. I've been encountering some discrepancies about that. Because there are some things that it says are not in the Deke Dub that I saw in the Deke Dub, and so I'm kind of like, what? Let me check if we see them crucified. No, I guess we don't see them crucified. The reason I was confused is because it also said we don't see, spoiler, Chibiusa getting electrocuted, and I was like, yes, we definitely see that.
Actually, we don't, because I was able to find an old copy of the Deke Dub somewhere on YouTube.
Me too, and I saw it.
I don't know. They actually did cut it because I watched it side by side. They did cut it out. Yeah, spoiler. Sorry, guys.
Well, then there must be more than one version because I've just double checked and it's there. When she goes to try to get the Sailor Scouts and she walks into the field and it like electrocutes her.
It shocks her and bounces her back, but they cut it slightly.
Maybe a tiny bit, but like you still see her getting electrocuted.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And here's her. Okay.
Yeah.
So no, you don't see them crucified, Chris. Shockingly.
He sounds so disheartened by that.
Was that a pun, Jordan?
No, because you don't. No, because you don't shock people who are crucified.
No.
I thought you were talking about the electrocution being shocking.
Shocking. No, I wasn't bonding this.
So Esmeralda's like, Esmeralda, you should really just kill them. And then Rubius is like, nope, I have them crucified instead. Then Esmeralda's like, whatever. And bails. And then Rubius drops the B word on her.
Yes.
Something else I was not expecting.
Yeah, that was not that was not
okay.
Obviously not in the Deke Dub.
Obviously.
That one didn't make it to the Deke Dub either?
Sure. Again, shockingly, no. I think Esmeralda also, one of the things that's interesting about her, she is always thinking about really funny jokes, apparently, because she's always got a laugh in her heart.
Jeez. Okay, you say so.
She just constantly shows up chuckling. So, I mean, listen, I guess really it's that she's supposed to be like so laughing at him and at his stupid plans, but I think she's faking it a little bit. That laugh is a bit much, don't you think?
I mean, look, I think it's I think she's perfectly reasonable in laughing at this dude who's like, no, I'll kill them later.
Right.
I'm not gonna screw this up. Esmeralda being like, okay, I'm gonna go check back into the future real quick. BRB.
Right.
Yeah, look, they're all still alive. Look at that. You fucked up again.
Next thing we get is another shot of Mamoru's apartment. And this one, it's an upshot. So we see the apartment building, and we can see a street light in front of it. So again, I think we're talking about a building, he's maybe on the 10th floor max. Probably lower, more like 8.
We don't know how far away that street light is.
Come on.
The street light could be right next to the camera. We don't know.
The street light probably is right next to the camera, but I also know approximately the size of a window,
yeah.
So it can't be
come on.
It can't be that far from the street light. Like I think he's on like the 8th, 9th, 10th floor tops, and she parachuted out of it, which does not sound safe.
No, it doesn't.
Look, it's also a parachute that 2 seconds before that was a floating robot cat head.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's be real here, Jordan.
You think Pooh helped?
I think Pooh helped. Chibiusa is like, hey, your tuxedo mask, right? And in what might be my favorite memory moment in a while, his response is, yeah. That's right. Like, yeah, I'm tuxedo. Like, if you just ask him, like, he will tell you.
Yeah.
Her response is, it doesn't shock me anymore.
Nothing shocks me.
Yeah, she's seen things in her
Apparently she has PTSD from seeing Serena and the others transform.
I believe it.
I don't know, like if I saw anyone rise up into the air in rainbow light and explode in feathers and ribbons, I would probably stop being surprised by things.
So this conversation that Mamo and Chibi have here is interesting because basically he's like, she's like, yeah, I gave the crystal back, and he goes, yeah, but your plan was to steal it and run away forever to the future. And she's like, what? And he's like, let's be real. Like, let's talk about what's going on. You need to tell me the truth about what's happening. Here's what I want to know about this. Does he know who she is? Because it seems to me that he does.
Well, it's not that he knows who she is, but she did mention that she was she was from the future and that she needs help. But I don't think he has an idea of who she is exactly, like parental wise.
Because it's the amount that he gets emotional about it makes me think that he knows that Usagi's her mother, and that's why he's like freaking out, going like, "You got to tell me what happened with your mother so we can save her."
No, I think it's mostly because he knows if she had ran off with the silver crystal, Usagi would be pretty much vulnerable back in the past. She wouldn't be Sailor Moon anymore. But then again, if she's not Sailor Moon, how can she get Sailor Moon to help her?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get it? I get it. I know it sounds weird, but yeah, what was her end plan of going back to the future with this crystal, as well as trying to figure out how am I supposed to say, like, what do I do now? I got the crystal. What do I do? I can't give it to my mom because I don't know what's going on with her, and everybody else is standing around protecting the crystal points. And father is obviously gone somewhere to the abyss, but we don't know that yet.
Yeah, like, look, I have mentioned this before. Not a big fan of anything in the time travel plot.
No continuity.
TBQH. So, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff of Mamoru talking to Chibiusa, Usagi kind of freaking out and saying that she feels like handing over the silver crystal and Chibiusa just to get all her friends back and not have to deal with Chibiusa anymore. I sympathize.
No, that was a really good scene because she was so self-aware.
No, it's good. Like, she goes through all that and she's like, no, of course I don't really think that.
I just think it's really hard. Yeah, I just am not strong enough right now.
Well, when you come
she
close
goes
to
a little-
backhanding a child after all of your friends are just abducted in front of your face, I would kind of feel the same way too.
Front-handing.
Right, front-handed.
Front-handing.
Excuse me.
Like, she was coming around with full extension.
She had some power behind that, but yeah, I can totally get it. Like, she actually has this whole moment of, I have a choice now. Do I give up the crystal and this brat who has been a major thorn in my side for God knows how many months and episodes, or do I just suck it up and go save my friends and still have to deal with this brat who's been a thorn in my side for X amount of episodes?
Can we just get real dark for a second?
Yeah.
And talk about the idea that Usagi would give the bad guys her own kid, but not know it's her kid, and then have to like live her whole life and eventually have that kid, and then be like,
Oh, yeah.
"Oh shit, that was my kid."
Oh, God. My brain. I feel it. This time travel plot hurts.
And then we get to that scene in the distant future where Chibiusa pees on everybody's bed, and she's like, "Oh right, that's why I did it. That's why I did it."
That's why she did it.
Nice.
There's also a great scene where Usagi is like, she goes, I can hear my old self saying, "I'm sleepy, I'm tired," and I'm like, yeah, I can hear my old self saying that too, and my current self.
I can as well.
You gotta learn to grow like her, Chris. If someday you can be as put together as this 14-year-old girl.
It's never gonna happen. My personal growth comes slowly like a glacier. Jordan. Now, here's my favorite thing about this scene. Usagi's obviously having a rough time. She's not sure what to do. All of her friends are gone. But she also is really fraught about all this. So Artemis is like, hey, you go get some rest. We'll come up with a plan.
Yes.
Then Artemis's big plan is...
the best part of the episode.
Yeah, no, the best part of the episode by far. Hey, Luna, what if you stand on my shoulders and we dress up as Chibiusa in a wig and a sailor fuku?
Well, you
It is the best
you
thing.
forgot
It is
also
the best.
the other part of their two-part great plan of finding a fake crystal to give to Rubius while they are dressed as Reedy. I'm still wondering where would they get this fake crystal from, and I'm thinking Osa P possibly.
Yeah, I was going to
yeah,
say, there's plenty of
obviously.
shops that sell fake crystals, as we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Would they let Molly know that, hey, do you happen to have a fake crystal we can kind of borrow? So we trick this bad guy into taking to this 5-year-old child while we get our friends back.
if you want to see Luna and Artemis in their Chibiusa disguise, I will guarantee you that is the episode image up at sailorbusiness.com today.
Of course it
Of
is.
course.
Come on. Let's get real.
So
Naturally.
they decide not to do that because both Usagi and Chibiusa decide on their own to go and face Rubius alone, like independently of each other. Which I guess Usagi decides it first, and then Chibiusa hears about it and then sneaks out to go after her. Which,
Then, listen, but in a like farcical scene, because Darien comes out and is like, "Where's Serena?" Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Oh my God, she must have gone on her own. And they're sitting there talking about that, going, "Yes, of course, that's what would happen." And so first of all, it's like, okay, well, you know what you could do? Go after her. And of course, in that time that they're talking about it, Chibi goes, and then they do the exact same thing again. Oh, she's gone.
I love that they're
She's been gone a whole
looking.
2 seconds. There's no way we could catch her now.
I love that they're looking at the door,
Right.
which means that Chibiusa again base jumped off the balcony. Because that's the only way out of the apartment.
And then Memo says they're like identical twins.
Yeah.
He's so close. He's so
I
close
was
to
like,
figuring it out.
They could be.
Pretty good.
Yep, identical twins, except one is much younger than the other, and
Yeah.
has a lot of her traits. And if only there was another relative situation.
If only.
Yeah, like when two people are similar, but one is old enough to have given birth to the other.
Yeah, like exactly. Like, what is there a word for that?
Possibly.
Usagi goes out. The spaceship comes down. Rubius is like, "Yo, what's up? Nice to see you, Sailor Moon and Rabbit." And Sailor Moon's like, "Oh, Jesus." She turns around and there's Chibiusa, and she's like, "Hey, you're fucking up my plan."
It's like, what the hell?
And I like Chibiusa kind of balling up her tiny little fists and being like, "No, this is my fault. I have to fix this." Because yes, it is.
Yes.
And then they both get tractor beamed.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Look.
Yes, it is.
No. I'm not saying it's not her fault, but there are a lot of problems that children can solve that I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to trust you to solve it, kid.
What is a problem that you would allow a child to solve?
Like they messed up their room and now they need to clean it. Good. You cover that. Put those crayons away. Good idea.
Or you spill water on the floor, you get a mop and pick it up. Not that I stole an artifact that you used to save my life, have my friends kidnapped, and now I'm going to make this right. That's not how this works.
So they get abducted by aliens while Memoru and the two cats watch Too Big.
Yeah, well, they do watch and do fuck all.
Well, yeah, I guess on part of me is like, why didn't he transform? Then he has powers. He could use his extendo cane to get up there, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, like, because Sailor Moon gets there on foot.
Yeah.
We know Mamoru owns both a motorcycle and a sports car.
That's true.
Ugh, God.
Oh, well.
Useless.
He can transform while on that motorcycle.
We've seen it. It's possible.
Yeah, but then we actually get what I think is a really cool moment for Usagi. Because Rubius is like, "Yeah, you brought Rabbit right to me, just like my plan, just according to plan." And Usagi's like, "What, do you think I'm stupid? This isn't really Rabbit. This is some other child."
Yes, I brought a random child to this fight with a villain.
But I love it because she totally sells it. She's like, "Yeah, you idiot, you bought it. You totally bought it." And
Do you want to
Rubius is
hear?
like, "Fuck, she just brought a random ass child. I can't believe this."
It's because Sailor Moon says it like sitting Indian style on the ground too. It like looks so silly while she's talking about it. It's like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
In the Deke dub, as we said, they call her Rini. So they're like, "Thanks for bringing Rini." And so Sailor Moon uses her amazing wit to go, "This isn't Rini. This is my cousin Trini."
Power Ranger reference, of course.
Ridiculous.
She also, like, in the Japanese version, she does the same thing. She doesn't say "my cousin Trini," but she says, like, "Oh, this isn't Rabbit. This is my cousin Chibiusa," which means little rabbit.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
This is a rabbit. This is little rabbit. You dummy.
Well, they don't speak the language properly. They're not going to get the reference.
Well, no.
But I do like that Sailor Moon does this. I do like that she comes up with this plan because she is currently faced with seeing her friends again crucified.
Yeah.
Like, that's right in front of her.
It also is kind of fucked up that regardless of who this little girl is, regardless of whether it's really the girl or just a random girl, Rubius is like, yeah, fine. She can just go run around my spaceship.
Right.
Yeah, fine.
With her floating
Like-
cat head.
That's definitely from the future.
It's got like a ignoro field around it.
No.
So Sailor Moon, as always, tries using her power on Rubius, and it doesn't work. Not a surprise, because nobody's powers work on Rubius. Come on. But she is carrying what looks like a pretty heavy mace, and I wanted her to just run up and whack him with it because it looks effective.
Why not? That'll work.
Just run up and hit him over the head.
I do like that he backhands her moon halation away, which is pretty cool.
So this ship magnifies Rubius's powers many times over. So that's when he gravity smushes her, and then he goes, but I could make you lighter too, and just makes her float around and hit herself on the ceiling for no reason.
None.
Yeah, why
Sure.
not? Why
That's
not?
the thing that happens.
Well, the thing that's, of course, actually, the thing that's funny about that too, to me, is that's not how gravity works. Which is just to say, if you get lighter, you don't. Well, I mean, I guess if he's very selectively making her lighter than the air, but I feel like that would be really difficult.
Well, she's not going to rocket into the ceiling.
Yeah.
No. Like that, again, that is unless he's reversing gravity.
Which is not a thing, right? Like gravity doesn't push; it just
No,
pulls.
I mean, like if he reverses it so that the gravitational pull is coming from up.
Oh! I see.
Like if he turns it upside down. But yeah, like I mean, look, they're in space. There's obviously some artificial gravity going on, but it's a bunch of weird space stuff.
Yeah.
So all this is going on. Chibiusa, the child who is currently being ignored, starts running towards those crucified Sailor Scouts and gets electrocuted by a force field, and her head. She gets her crescent moon on her head and begins sending out moonbeams.
What was she gonna do? Was she just gonna hug their feet? Like what was
I
her
assume
plan
she's
there?
gonna grab one of them and just try to yank and see what happens.
So don't get injured around Jordan D. White, everybody, because if he doesn't know exactly what to do, he is not going to help your ass.
Listen, can I tell you? I probably should not do CPR on you because I don't know what it is. I will just break your sternum for no reason.
God.
First of all, you should learn CPR. That's
a different piece of advice, but for now, since I haven't, I shouldn't do it.
Secondly, I feel like being crucified, there's a very clear step one, which is get him off the cross.
Yeah, but they're crystalled into the cross. She's a child, so there's nothing she can do.
Yeah, that's defeatist
That's
talk.
defeatist talk.
That's stinking thinking. That's a bad attitude.
All right, well, she gets electrocuted instead. Are you happy?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
I know you're not happy because she's your favorite
Yeah.
character. And
We know you're still coming around to her. It's fine.
Not only does she get electrocuted once, then she does it again immediately
She's like,
afterwards.
wait, that
So
hits me.
if the first time you try something it doesn't work, you should just give up, says Jordan D. White.
So the lesson here is don't pee on an electric fence 3 times.
Oh my God.
Do it once by accident. Okay, that's fine. Do it twice just to check. Maybe you were wrong. It didn't electrocute you. Okay. The second time she gets electrocuted, she notices a giant crystal there
Oh yeah.
that is glowing.
It's very clearly a key item. It's a target. It is
I was
glowing
gonna
and
say, is it
pulsating and
emanating
easily
any
accessible.
power? Because that would be a huge factor.
When you mouse over it, it
Okay.
glows. What's ridiculous?
You get an X button when you walk up to it. You get a
Right,
prompt.
Exactly. The ridiculous part of that is, again, remember the massive size of this spaceship. This spaceship is again, the city of Tokyo sized. And yet the place where they're fighting is both the place where the Sailor Scouts are and the place where the thing that gives Rubius his power is.
Yeah, it's
Bad
a
play,
big room.
Rubius. It's not a
outside-
Tokyo sized room.
No, it's probably between my apartment and a football field.
Oh my God.
In something that I really think is cool, Rubius starts increasing the gravity on Sailor Moon to the point where the floor underneath her shatters, which is always a really cool effect. And then Sailor Moon with the determination that she has, stands up under all this, 20 times Earth's gravity, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
They must have super resilience, right? Because her bones would be destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the stone floor of this spaceship shatters, and then there's a really awesome scene because Sailor Moon just looks up and starts standing up and just goes, "Unforgivable," which is the shit.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
For some reason, she decides to use the attack that didn't work again,
Right.
which I don't get, but there you go. And not only that, but for some reason this time, Rubius, instead of just kind of waving it away like he did before, is doing the classic trope of let's do your energy versus my energy, where they're shooting energy at each other and meeting in the middle. Why?
Yeah.
Why is any of this happening?
Because it looks
Because it was written in
awesome.
the script. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Meanwhile,
It's a cool visual.
Cursed Rabbit is trying to pull out her his crystal battery.
Because that's how it usually works. So when things don't work well, you just pop the batteries out, try again.
Yeah, she knows what's up.
And then she moon halations him a third time. And again, he stops it until Chibi manages to pull out the crystal and shatter it, at which point his power fails and he gets halationed. And one of his earrings gets knocked off.
His Black Moon Clan earring.
Because you need both to be at full power.
Yeah,
Yep.
obviously.
All those times when they were cleansing the sisters, it was really just removing their earrings. That was the only important part.
I mean, that is borne out by the events of the show.
Yeah.
And so if they had managed to get the other earring off, he would have been a good guy. But it was only one, so he just lost his powers.
So the battery gets pulled out. He gets his earring knocked off. For some reason, the battery is also keeping the ship together and is also what is keeping the crystal crosses in existence. Because as soon as that thing's gone, those things don't even shatter. They're just gone. Like, they're gone. The scouts are floating in midair, and they just drop to their feet, none the worse for wear.
Well, yeah, because again, it was all linked together. I'm guessing this base is like him. Like his power and this base's power is all the same thing.
I mean,
Yeah, why
possibly.
not? Let's go with that.
And so then he's like, well, at least you're all going to die.
No, like, after dropping the B word on Esmeralda, after crucifying the Sailor Scouts, after saying, "Damn, you're too strong," Rubius says, "You're all gonna turn into space dust." Which is pretty great. Oh, you think you won? Fools, the ship is out of control and will soon blow up. You'll all be space dust.
So did everyone else yell out exactly how they should save themselves?
No.
Sailor teleport?
Yeah, because like as soon as they were like, we're trapped, I was like, well, you could always do that thing where you teleported that one time that you ever used that power.
Yeah, man, like, I hate that they have this power that they only, like, they're like, yeah, Sailor Teleport, that thing that we always do.
Oh, so
that power
if
we
you
have.
ain't Sailor Teleport now, wait till you guys get to the Sailor Moon R movie, because that becomes so plot relevant. It's going to be hilarious.
I really want to watch the movies. We got to find the movies. I hope they get released soon.
I feel like
Me
I have
too.
an old DVD.
I typically, I have two of them, at least two of them on VHS still.
Yeah, I was Joe Hunter for Christmas got me, I think, the R movie on VHS, but I don't have a VCR.
Yeah, me
so they're gonna teleport out as the ship is exploding into flames around them, and as Rubius has exploded and is presumably laying burned to death, although we will see him later. They're like, all right, we gotta teleport. Let's make a big circle around Chibiusa.
And they're also like, wait, but we can't teleport Chibiusa. They're like, maybe we can.
Exactly. Why does this only work to their convenience when they think they can do something, but they really can't? I've still got to figure this out. To this day, I have looked into it. It works in some instances. It doesn't work in others. It can work with some Sailor Scouts, but it can't work with all of them. I'm so confused by this.
It doesn't make it works when it needs to work. That's the end.
And the funny thing is, she goes, hey, like, Sailor Moon's like, hey, Chibiusa, you've got to try to teleport too. And I gotta say, like, is this just something that I haven't tried?
Yes, you could just gotta try to teleport, Chris.
Just gotta believe in myself. Because Chibiusa's like, hey, I'll try it. And this is how he goes. Yeah, awesome. And when we get home, I'll make you a reward. And Chibi's like, I want hotcakes, bro. And she's like, yeah, bro, hotcakes. And it's like a super weird moment. Like, hey, we'll get that drink one day.
It's so buddy cop movie.
Yeah, it is. It's total. It's like Lethal Weapon. It's like hilarious. It's like, don't worry, Peggy. We'll have that dance. Like it's ridiculous. I love it.
And then as soon as they're gone, Rubius rolls out of the fire.
And then Esmeralda shows up and she's like, the ship's exploding.
And he reaches out for her to help. Hey, help me live through this. And she's like, nope.
He says, hey, the ship's going to explode in 2 minutes. That's a very specific time to know that we have that, because there's flames literally everywhere, but I'm pretty sure we've got about 2 minutes. And Esmeralda's like, nope, you suck. Peace out.
Our glorious clan has no room for someone with your incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she teleports away.
Burn.
And I guess he's lost the ability to teleport again, obviously. So, yeah, he just, a giant nuclear explosion goes off in space, turns the nighttime into daytime.
Because it was like a 30 gigaton bomb that illuminated the sky.
It's not nuclear, though. It's crystal. It's future crystal power.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So everything's fine. Everything's just fine.
No, it's not.
Cellular teleport works just fine.
Yeah, no issues. And she says she'll make her the hotcakes, and then Ray goes, by the way, she's a terrible cook.
Which I do kind of like that, because that is a hit here, like, oh man, we just made it through. Like, we just literally almost died. Haha, let's joke around some.
Yeah.
And then everybody laughs. They were just recently crucified.
And we never speak of it again.
And then they were like, hey, that was weird, right? But instead, we cut to the future, where in the Gemini Man stage from Mega Man 3, where Prince Demond is sitting around drinking his Dracula wine, his glass of blood, and he's like, yeah, Rubius sucks, but you better do a good job, Esmeralda. And she's like, yep, can't suck more than that guy did. And then we finally see who Rini's mother is.
No.
Have we seen her before?
Yes.
Okay. I forgot. I thought this was the big reveal.
No. This is the reveal of the bad guy, none of her.
Okay. He should be swirling that wine like Beryl swirls that energy.
He's arrogant.
But did anybody else find this kind of creepy, the way he says, I get everything I want?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Because that was a little on the, wow, you are just going to go down that road, huh? All right, let's do this.
So that's it. That is it. We are done with Rubius as a whole, and done with this episode in particular. And I feel like we learned a lot from his failures.
Do you think so?
I do. Jordan, do we have a Sailor Moon says for this episode?
Yes.
I don't like the way you said that.
Even the best friends have misunderstandings, and sometimes it seems like the hardest thing in the world is to say, I'm sorry. But you know what? For Sammy, it was even harder putting it off, to not say he was sorry. Having friends is important. If you have a misunderstanding with them, talk it out. And that means you.
So I'm gonna guess that's another recycle of Sailor Moon.
Yeah, Sammy was not in this episode, or am I going nuts?
Yeah, Sammy. Did you miss the part where they reveal that Rubius was actually Sammy the whole time?
Was he?
Look, that would have been a great reveal if you saw Rubius. Like, if Rubius was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and watch them die," and he put like his arms back, pointed his elbows up.
Sammy,
big reveal.
That's future Sammy.
Okay. Oh my god! If that was that'd actually be kind of awesome if it was. Right?
That's my new headcanon, is that Rubius is Shingo in the future.
Okay.
Here is my question. How great would that Sailor Moon says have been if it was like, hey, sometimes it's really hard to say you're sorry. Like Rubius. He didn't say he was sorry and died in a fiery explosion because of it. Remember, talk it out, even if someone is laughing at you while you burn to death.
Oh my god.
They could have saved it. They could have saved it.
The worst. Why would you pick one why would you pick one that specifically mentions a character not in the episode? And it isn't relevant.
Boy.
It's not relevant.
Well, I think we probably learned some better lessons for this. Arlie, what did you learn from this episode?
I learned that a black and white cat standing on top of each other can mimic a 5-year-old with pink hair.
Accurate.
Yeah.
True. So true.
I learned that that if you bring a child that isn't the child someone wants to see to someone's house, you can just let that child run free and they will not give a shit.
Do you consider Rubius's spaceship to be his house?
Yeah, that's where he lives. Come on.
Okay, I mean, look, fair.
Where else does he live?
The future.
Oh, okay. That's where we all live. How about you, Chris? What'd you learn?
I learned that it's possible to screw up at your job so badly that they let you burn to death, which is now a whole new anxiety I get to have about my career.
God. Same here.
Jordan, you'd save me, right? You'd take me back to the future even if I was like way over a deadline.
How bad is the script when you turn it in?
Well, I mean, my parts are great. my half's awesome.
Prerequisites to me saving you.
What are the sales like? Okay, anyway.
Everybody, remember to open a pull list at your local shop, or else Jordan will let me burn to death. That's what we have learned today. So yeah,
gosh.
This is, like I said, this episode's the end of Rubius. He is gone. He will be replaced by Esmeralda in future episodes for a little bit, and then we will get yet another villain in what is actually one of my favorite parts of Sailor Moon R, one that I remember really enjoying. But for now, let's look back on Rubius. Weirdly, not much of a character.
Can I tell you, Rubius has a much bigger place in my mind than he does in the actual show.
Because he's Shingo in your
Because he's Shingo. No, because in the original run, he was the undefeated villain. Because when the series ended 2 episodes ago, he was the biggest guy that never got taken down. So much so that, okay, I'm going to say this. When I was in high school and I wrote the mashup between Sailor Moon and Rocky Horror, he was my Frankenfurter.
Oh boy. That's the most Jordan D. White thing I've ever heard.
Okay, I guess.
It was actually kind of weird because it really ended up being skewed heavily towards the Black Moon Clan because like the Sailor Scouts were basically not in it. It was Darien and Serena were Brad and Janet, and they went to the Black Moon Clan house basically. And then Nephlite and Jedi had appearances.
I like that Arlie and I are just like, yeah,
This is happening. We're doing this live. This is happening. I hope you're all proud of yourselves.
Pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
But I think that ending this after the Spectre, like, do we know why? Like, Arlie, have you looked into this? Do we know why that's where they stopped?
Oh, you know what? I actually haven't. I don't remember if it's because they lost the rights to it or they just forgot that there were other episodes. But
let me see. That would have been.
They never gave. I don't think they gave a definitive answer about why they particularly stopped showing the episodes for 3 years after the loss of the Spectre sisters. Because I was actually, when I remember first seeing the run, it was like, okay, that's great. What happens next? And then we don't see it again until Cartoon Network picks it up for 3 years. I think it has something to do with rights, honestly.
It's 65 episodes in. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's a weird number, but I guess it's just that they licensed. Let's do 65 episode run. I don't know why. Maybe that's a number for weekly comic book for weekly cartoon series because I don't know what kind of numbers you look at for a season of
Well, I mean, that sounds about right, because I know there's a total of like 60 episodes of Gem.
There you go.
But that's over the course of 3 seasons.
Right.
Because what you want, right, is the syndication number is 100, because that's 3 months with no reruns, like 3 months showing daily. 60 would only be like a little over 2 if it's only airing on weekdays. It's like, if anyone out there knows, or if anyone can point us to where we can find out, I would love to know how and why they stopped showing it at the end of the Spectre Sisters arc. Because on one level, that is a kind of cool place to end it, because, you know, but on the other level, the Spectre Sisters are not so good that their story, like that their story should be the end of this story. There's still a lot going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird one.
How many episodes did Batman have? You know what? Season 1 of Batman the Animated Series, 65 episodes.
Like 60 episodes.
65. Yeah. Same number.
Which was a show that ran daily. So I guess that might have been like the magic number for a standard contract. Interesting. But yeah, like Rubius as a villain without that, what do we know about Rubius? He's just kind of cruel, you know? He's manipulative of the Spectre sisters, but we don't much, honestly, much like Beryl, we do not really get much of a personality for him. And in fact, less than Beryl, because we at least get Beryl wanting Mamoru.
Well, they're both redheads.
That's true.
So
that's true.
There you go.
No good redheads on Sailor Moon.
Oh, Molly.
Yeah, Molly. we all know Molly's Sailor Nemesis.
Oh yeah, that's right. You think we're going to get fanfic about Shingo as Rubius?
Oh, I think absolutely we're going to get that.
I think
we're going to get Shingo's fan fiction where, like, because Rubius kind of feels like the superhero that Shingo draws himself as a 6-year-old. Like, he's wearing camouflage cargo pants and a tank top. Like, he is exactly what a little boy would think was badass.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, the end of Rubius, the introduction of some new villains, and not even the real villain of the season.
Nope.
We still have 3 more villain reveals to go before this season ends.
Jeez, okay.
Not to spoil it, but we've got Saphir, we've got Wicked Lady, and we have the actual Wise Man's actual deal coming up. So we've got